This DV8 Off-Road LFS-7 steel mid-width front bumper with LED lights is for those of you that have a 2007 to 2018 JK or 2018 JL that are looking for an aftermarket front bumper that's going to provide a lot more features, some protection, and also a completely different look to the front of your Jeep. This is going to be a pretty easy bumper to install. However, the lights do require some wiring to get them hooked up, so I'm going to go with a 2 out of 3 wrenches for this installation, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. Now, this bumper is going to provide some additional features like I mentioned before, some protection, some off-road ready features, and of course these lights. Now, these lights are going to be more of a marker light than they are something that's going to project and throw a lot of light out in front of your Jeep. So just know that ahead of time. These aren't going to be the same as mounting a set of spot beam or flood beam aftermarket auxiliary lights on your Jeep. These are going to be a little bit more of a marker light, but that's okay. It adds to the style of this front bumper. Overall, I think that this is a fairly priced bumper for all of the features that are packed into it. As it says in the name, this is a mid-width front bumper, so this isn't going to be quite as wide as your factory front bumper, or of course as wide as a full-width front bumper, but it's also not as stubby as a stubby front bumper. So generally a stubby bumper will come out just past where the D-rings are on this, and this one of course is going to have a little bit of a wider wing to it, making it that mid-width bumper. And that allows them to squeeze additional features into this, as well as it offering a little bit more protection than a stubby bumper. Now, a lot of guys do want to run a stubby bumper because they don't want any interference issues between a big 37-inch tire and their bumper. With a mid-width, you may end up getting into some of that, so if you have a 37, just know that if you're running 35s, you shouldn't have any issue with this bumper or with any other steel mid-width bumper. As far as features goes, again, steel bumper covered in a textured black powder coat finish to help it resist any sort of rust and corrosion. This does have 2 D-ring mounts, and it does come with the D-rings, which is a pretty nice feature. Right in the center here, you're going to have a winch mount that's going to hold any standard mounting winch, and of course your fairlead mount here. And then you are going to have 4 LED lights that are going to be recessed right into this front bumper. And those are going to be a little bit more of a marker light, like I said before, and you are going to have to wire those up. Up here on top of the bumper, you're going to have this hoop, and this does have 2 additional auxiliary light mounts on it, just regular light mount tabs that will accept any regular single post light mount. So you can add even additional lighting up on those tabs. This is going to come in at right around that $415 mark, and there are some bumpers on the market that are going to look and function similar to this one that are a little bit less expensive. I do think you're getting a pretty high quality of build with this bumper, so if you like this look, if you like these functions, I do think this is going to be worth the cost. Now, somebody from the install team will show you how to get this installed on your Jeep.
First thing you're going to want to do is unplug your factory fog lights. You're going to want to squeeze the tab on the back of your light and pull away from the vehicle. Now you're going to remove the 8 18mm nuts that are located 4 on each side of the Jeep. Once you have your factory fog lights disconnected and the 8 18mm nuts off the back of your bumper, you're going to go ahead and pull it away from the Jeep. Now that you have your bumper off, you're going to go ahead and remove the frame cover using a screwdriver or a removal tool. Now we're ready to do the wiring portion of the fog lights on your bumper. As you can see, our fog light harness has already been cut into, so we're just going to put the corresponding connectors on the bumper. Now for you doing this at home, all you're going to want to do is cut your harness about 2 inches back from the plug and wire in whatever connector you would like to use. Now that you've made the appropriate electrical connections, you're ready to put your bumper on the Jeep. Using the provided hardware, you're going to secure the 3 19mm nuts to the backside of the bumper, as well as a 19mm bolt that goes on the inside of the frame. When installing your hardware, you're going to want to leave it a little loose until you have the bolt in on the inside of the frame. Now you're going to go ahead and put your bolt in directly above the nut we just installed on the inside of the frame. Once you have all 4 secured on the one side of your Jeep, you're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side and then come back and tighten it all up. Once you have your 6 nuts and 2 bolts installed, you're going to go ahead and tighten everything up. Once you have your bumper secured to the frame, you're going to go ahead and connect your fog lights. Once you have them connected, you're going to go ahead and wrap them in electrical tape, as well as tuck them up out of the way from any potential hazards. Now that we have our bumper mounted as well as the lights wired up, that wraps up our review and install. You can check out more at ExtremeTerrain.com.